All of us, as children, may have been raised with the idea that living the life of your dreams is difficult or even impossible. Years later, sources appeared claiming it was possible, but only through endless visualizations, constant self-improvement, and daily techniques. In reality, however, dealing with your own reality is not about the number of exercises performed, but about understanding fundamental things that are astonishingly simple. They are so simple that almost no one takes them into account, which is a big mistake. But one thing at a time. You are currently living in a quantum field, a field of unlimited possibilities, a field that does not respond to your efforts, but to your state. And yet, most people see their relationship with the world as a struggle. They try to violently suppress their current reality. They may even repeat affirmations they don't believe in, visualize things they secretly doubt, while their body is still paralyzed with fear. At this point, the whole system collapses. Because in the quantum world, compulsion holds you back instead of moving you forward. Let's simplify it. Reality management is not about getting what you want. It's about moving into a version of reality where you already have it. It's not about changing the outside world first. It's about embodying an inner signal that attracts the world to you. The space of possibilities, or the quantum field, as it is also called, contains every possibility: success and failure, abundance and lack, love and loneliness. They are all already present as probabilities. They are available to everyone, but few are able to consciously choose what they want. The choice is made through your attention, your focus, and your reactions. You are the sculptors of reality. Many people are stuck in a series of inconveniences. They observe the world from a position of fear. They focus on what is missing. They vibrate at the frequency of lack and try to attract abundance. And in the language of quantum physics, that is noise, not a signal. You have been taught to chase what you want. But the true art of mastering reality is to become the version of yourself that no longer needs to chase. It's the version of you that remembers, I am already moving on the life path I desire. The field is waiting for my signal. My job is not to try harder, but to become clearer. So why don't people do it? Because simplicity is disarming. Because letting go feels unnatural. Because giving up the chase feels like defeat. But here is the paradox that no one talks about. The moment you stop needing it so much, it manifests. Think of a time when something came to you effortlessly. Maybe you met the right person by chance. An opportunity was given to you that you weren't even looking for, or you had a breakthrough idea when you weren't looking for it. What do these situations have in common? You weren't clinging. You weren't forcing it. You were open, calm, available. This is reality management in the background. Whether you realize it or not, the quantum field doesn't just care about your words. It reads your energy when you say those words. You can say, I am rich 1,000 times. But if you are still radiating fear and lack, if your nervous system is still anxious and constantly expecting a struggle, the field will mirror that chaos back to you. Not because it is cruel, but because it is precise. This is where the radical shift comes in. Reality management begins when you stop focusing on what is missing and start aligning your state. You become the signal. You embody the right vibration. You allow your state to take the lead, not your efforts. What exactly does the quantum field respond to? Just thoughts, emotions, beliefs, actions? And how do you align these levels so they don't send conflicting signals? This is where most teachings fail. They focus on only one part, usually thoughts or feelings. They tell you to think positive, without removing the trauma stored in your body. They tell you to visualize, without removing the subconscious sabotage that misleads you. They tell you to imagine success, while your nervous system is still preparing for failure. But the quantum field receives an integrated signal. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned, the message is clear, the vibration is stable, and the field responds almost immediately. But when you think one thing, feel another, and do something completely unrelated, the message becomes distorted. The field reflects chaos, not clarity. This is where the observer effect comes in, the cornerstone of quantum physics. At the quantum level, particles exist in a state of pure possibility, which we call a wave function. But when the observer, which is you, focuses on a specific possibility, that wave manifests into a solid event. Reality materializes. The invisible becomes visible. But here's the catch. The observer is not just your conscious awareness. The observer is also your subconscious. This means that even if you consciously want abundance, but the field is set to survival, lack, or fear, it perceives this hidden transmission. That's why so many people feel stuck. They work with their mind, but ignore their deeper programming. It's also an interesting fact that the heart has its own electromagnetic field, which is much stronger than that of the brain. This heart field radiates out and interacts with the larger quantum field around you. When your heart and your brain are in sync, you send out a powerful, unified signal. When they are not in sync, the signal becomes weak and mixed. That's why attempts to control reality with the mind alone so often fail. Without an emotional component, the quantum field has no clear signal to reflect. And this is where most people go wrong. They want to think their way to change, when they need to feel their way to it. You can't just tell the field what you want. You have to vibrationally match it. This means aligning your body, your breath, your nervous system, your beliefs, and your daily choices. This is not a one-time ritual. It's a lifestyle. Let's look at an example. Imagine you want to attract love. You can write affirmations, create vision boards, and visualize your ideal partner. But if you carry wounds of unworthiness deep inside, if your nervous system is preparing for rejection, if your heart is armored and afraid to open up, the quantum field feels that tension. It perceives the contradiction, and as a result, you don't get what you want, but only reinforce what you are so desperately trying to escape. It's not that the universe is punishing you. It's that it is perfectly mirroring your dominant frequency. The shift of reality for the better happens through the feeling of integrity in the now, through the practice of experiencing the emotions of receiving what you want before it manifests, through living in the state of already having it. In this way, you synchronize your state with the lifeline on which what you want is already waiting for you. It may seem complicated, but here is a simple truth. The more you let go of control over the outcome and focus on regulating your inner state, the faster the quantum field responds. It's simple, but no one does it because the human mind likes to complicate things. We want 10 steps, 5 life hacks, a guaranteed formula. But the quantum field is not a machine. It's a mirror. It's a dance partner. It is alive, responsive, intelligent, and ready to respond to your conscious interaction with it. So why do almost no people do it? Because letting go feels unnatural. The human mind is addicted to control. We have been conditioned to believe that the more we try, the more we deserve that struggle equals worth, that the harder we work, the more likely success is. So when we encounter reality control on a metaphysical level, our programming short circuits. We continue to try to force results, even though that very compulsion is the frequency that tells the field that we don't trust the process and want to struggle. Let's be clear. Most people who fail at reality management are caught in the control trap. They visualize abundance, but they anxiously check their bank account hourly. They write about love, but obsessively monitor text messages and dating apps, becoming frustrated and disillusioned. As a result, they send a signal of distrust to the field. They consciously say one thing, but subconsciously send the opposite. Why is this so important? Because the quantum field doesn't speak German, English, Spanish, or any other human language. It speaks the language of energy. And energy never lies. You can say all the right words, but if your nervous system is preparing for loss, if your mind is stuck in doubt, the field listens to that deeper frequency. That's why so many people are already desperate. They do everything that needs to be done, but they do it from a state of overimportance, lack, and want. And so they get stuck. They materialize more waiting, more lack, more effort, more searching, because they are not energetically on the line of having. They are on the line of lack and endless struggle. The subconscious mind controls about 95% of your life. It is the autopilot that shapes your habits, beliefs, and emotional reactions. You can consciously want a breakthrough. But if your subconscious holds on to old beliefs like, I'm not good enough, I can't do anything, I have to fight for everything, then you will get old results accordingly. So what can you do? First, you need to understand that reality management and transurfing in particular are not an addition to your current life. It is a reconfiguration of your entire system. It is about becoming the version of yourself that lives in the lifeline you desire, before you see the physical manifestations of that line in the world around you. For example, if you want to attract abundance, practice feeling abundant now. Not later, not when the money comes, but now. You are generous and caring towards yourself. You trust the world and know that the manifestation of your new reality has already begun, even though you are still in the old setting. If you want love, practice self-love. Now. You open your heart. You loosen your boundaries. You yourself become the partner you want to attract. You stop looking for validation and start living as if you are already good enough. Because you are. If you want health, stop discussing your illnesses with everyone but your doctor. You practice gratitude for the body you have, for the organs that work well, and gently guide it towards self-regeneration and more vitality. And here is the paradox. When you stop needing something so much, it comes faster. Not because the universe is testing you or playing with you, but because you are no longer building resistance. Think about what area of your life you still have a chokehold on. Where are you still forcing, pushing, and chasing? What area of your life are you clinging to so tightly that you have become exactly what you are trying to eliminate? What would happen if you were to loosen your grip by just 10%? Pause for a moment. It's not about being passive and letting go. It's about shifting from control to co-creation. And this shift, subtle and powerful, is where reality management truly begins to work. So we are on the threshold of the most powerful truth that almost no one talks about. Reality management is not about attracting what you want, but about managing your state, who you are. This is the fundamental principle that determines how the quantum field interacts with you. It responds to the signal of your being, the vibrational frequency you radiate, every thought, every interaction. Imagine you are a radio. If you want to listen to classical music, You don't just sit there demanding classical music from the universe while staying tuned to a rock station. You have to turn the dial. You have to adjust your frequency to match what you want to receive. It's the same with reality management. You can't attract the lifeline you want by vibrating at the frequency of the lifeline you are trying to leave. So how do you turn the dial? You start by becoming aware of your current frequency. What stories endlessly repeat themselves in your life and in your mind? Most of us control reality unconsciously. We manifest on autopilot, reproducing the same states, the same reactions, the same vibrations, and the field faithfully mirrors them back to us. The shift begins when you break this pattern, not with brute force, not with desperate efforts, but with gradual, simple exercises. They can be as small as consciously breathing in and out in a moment of fear. Putting your hand on your heart when you are mired in self-flagellation, as a reminder that your life is the most valuable thing. Or asking yourself, what would the version of me that already has what I want do? And then taking a small action from that state. The quantum field does not need you to be perfect. It only needs the alignment of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, so they all go in the same direction. This is the moment when you stop saying one thing, feeling another, and doing something else. This is the moment when your entire system sends out a single, coherent signal. And when you reach this state, even for a short time, you gradually move to the branch of reality that best matches your state. The most important thing is to take the first step, to become the frequency of what you want, before manifestations arise in reality. Breathe in and out. Notice where you are, where your attention is. Ask yourself, what branch of reality am I tuned to right now? The line of fear or the line of trust? The line of lack or the line of abundance? Without judgment, just observing. Because the moment you observe and recognize, you create a point of choice. Reality management is a series of such choices, not a one-time exercise. It is what you live from moment to moment, from choice to choice. The successful person is not the one who knows the most techniques. It is the one who has learned to maintain their unified state, to rebalance no matter what. Maybe there will be days when fear returns, when old patterns whisper in your head, when the branch of reality you are trying to leave seems to pull you back. And in those moments, you will be tempted to react like the old version of you again, to complain and grab the world by the throat. But the true mastery is this. Can you anchor yourself so firmly in the new branch of reality that the old one no longer tempts you? This is the point where the successful outcome of reality management becomes an irreversible consequence. Soon, you will believe forever in what you once called miracles.